Have you ever wondered how you can get paid a ton of cash to write copy for 7, 8, and even 9-figure online businesses? At the same time, write that copy extremely fast thanks to the power of AI? I'm literally going to walk you through a real life cold traffic funnel that is actually going to get deployed for one of the 8-figure businesses that works with my agency. And they actually paid us as well to write this funnel. And the reason I say us is because I have a team of copywriters working for me who I have trained from scratch to do what I'm about to do in this video. And I've also trained them on how to use AI to deliver the copy even faster. The clients may or may not be aware that we use AI, but at the end of the day, they do not care. They just need a funnel that will convert on cold traffic. And that's what I'm going to show you in today's video. In just a few seconds, you're going to see the actual research process I use to come up with big ideas and angles that work. You'll see how I take AI generated copy and give it a human-like touch so that it really connects with the customer who's reading it. And I'm also going to show you the exact funnel structure that's converting for e-commerce businesses in 2025 on paid traffic. In this video, I am writing a cold traffic funnel. And for those who don't know, a cold traffic funnel means that the customers have never heard of the brand before, they've never bought from the brand before, and they're completely cold. I'm literally writing the words that will help acquire new customers on paid traffic for this brand. Now, the reality is in 2025, most copywriters are busy trying to become email copywriters for course sellers or e-com businesses or whatever. And as a result, they're stuck making 1 to 3K a month, if that, and they're struggling to sign clients because it's so competitive. And the reason for that is simple. When you're writing emails, you're writing to a warm audience. And in order for a business to have a warm audience, they have to acquire customers through cold traffic. And the only way for a business to grow is through acquiring new customers. And that's why the real money is in writing cold traffic copy. Because if you can help a business acquire new customers profitably or even at a break even from paid traffic, that means that you're helping this business literally grow and become bigger and sustain itself long term. But if you're just writing emails and just doing email copywriting for one of your clients, then all you're doing is helping them remonetize customers that they already acquired. In my humble opinion, cold traffic copywriting is the #1 money-making opportunity in 2025. And that's because every single business on the internet needs it. And you don't have to take my word for it. You just have to use your own logic to figure this out. Let me explain. Every single business needs to acquire new customers. Otherwise, they will not be a business. If you don't have customers, you don't have a business. It doesn't matter if it's a 9-figure business or a business that makes 100K a year, they all need customers. And if your main skill set or what you're offering to that business is that you're gonna help them acquire customers either more profitably at a higher average order value or lower their cost to acquire a customer, then that business is going to pay you whatever you ask, especially if you have confidence and you know what you're doing and you have a system and a framework in place to actually deliver the copy that's going to help them acquire new customers at scale. The second reason why it's the best opportunity in 2025 is because there are no copywriters who are selling this service. With email copywriting, you're literally fighting tooth and nail with a bunch of brokies and peasants from third world countries just to get a client who's barely gonna pay you $2,000 a month. And I can tell you for a fact that it's really fucking hard to get a new client as an email marketer because every single business is already doing email, and the only businesses who do shit with email and who pay copywriters to run their email lists are businesses that are already making substantial amounts of money. And by that point, they're already working with an agency like mine, or they've built an in-house team. So really, you're just competing with people like me, big agencies like mine that have been established and that have been doing this for, years just to get your first clients. Whereas with cold traffic copywriting, clients will literally start salivating if you mention those words to them. If you mention the word advertorial or VSL to a client, they will salivate and they will ask you, what's your fee? Let's work. Can you write one for us? Can you make one for us? Clients really fucking need cold traffic copy in 2025. Especially when you consider the tariffs in e-commerce that are driving up costs of goods. The only way for clients to combat that and for businesses to combat these high costs of goods is by having a higher average order value, which means a better funnel, better copy, better upsells, and also a lower cost to acquire a customer, which means better copy that relates more to the customer, so there's less friction in getting them to buy from you. And all of that comes down to the cold traffic copy. That's the main thing that converts a customer on paid traffic. And if you can provide that to businesses, whether it's e-commerce or info products, you will make a shit ton of money in 2025. 2024 alone, me and my team wrote over 300 cold traffic assets. That means VSLs, advertorials, ads, upsells, whatever you can think of, we wrote it and clients paid us for it. I am hosting a free live training on cold traffic copywriting very soon. If you want to learn how to write cold traffic copy from scratch, even as a total beginner in 2025, and most importantly, how to get clients to pay you thousands of dollars, just like all the students on screen who've made tens of thousands using my framework, then you need to sign up for my free live training. The link is in the description. There's no strings attached. I'm just hosting a free live training. And one thing I have to add is that the spots are limited. I can only accept maybe 50 to 100 people for this live training because I want to be able to get to everyone's questions. So make sure you go and sign up. The link is in the description. Do not miss out on this live training. It's completely free, no strings attached. Go and sign up right now. Link is in the description. Now, without further ado, let's actually start writing this cold traffic funnel. I don't have an exact script, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this how I would write anything, except this time I'm going to be narrating it as I go along and kind of explaining my process. So if you see me thinking or quiet for a couple minutes, it's because I'm just thinking. What I'm going to do first is show you the brand. So this is a brand. It's called Serene Herbs. It's a multi-8-figure supplement company. And they've been a client of my agency for like a year and a half. He wanted me to write the funnel for this bundle. Like I basically told him it doesn't make sense really, and it's going to be a harder sell because the thing is when you're selling a bundle like this to cold traffic, then you have to explain why both products are good. And as a general rule of thumb with direct response, you always want to focus on one thing. There always needs to be like one overarching idea throughout the funnel and throughout the sales process. And in this case, we kind of throw in two different products. And there's no obvious reason why these products should go hand in hand together. It's going to require a lot of explanation as to why you should buy both together. It's just going to create more friction to the sale. So what I want to do is focus on soursop bitters, just this product alone. And then for the downsell or the upsell, we're going to do this black seed bitter. And also the angles for these two products are completely different, right? You know, with black seed, Prophet Muhammad said, black seed cures every disease except for death, according to some hadith. Cleopatra used to use black seed and she was apparently super beautiful. So there's the skincare and the beauty angle, digestion, cancer. I mean, there's a million different things that black seed does, and there's a million different ways to make it interesting. Same goes for soursop, right? So I'd rather just do it separately so that we can focus on one thing. The reason the client wanted to do this bundle is because the AOV would be higher, but I think we can reach a good AOV through upsells and through long form copy, because with long form cold traffic copy, the longer it is, the higher your AOV will be and the more you can charge. And also we're going to play around with the offer structure because right now it's just 1, 2, and 3. I want to test 2, 4, and 6 and 1, 3, and 5 for the bundles. That can have a huge effect on your average order value. And also for the upsell, we're going to have the black seed or the downsell, sorry. And this is just going to help us liquidate ad spend and ideally get profitable on first purchase. This is the brand, multi-8 figures. The product's amazing. People love it. What's next? Now I've introduced you to the brand and the product. Let's talk about the funnel structure. Cold traffic funnel structure. I'm going to go with the most basic version. You can do long form VSLs. You can do a 25-minute Facebook VSL going to a product page. It doesn't matter. There's a million different structures. For the purpose of this funnel, it's going to be ad, advertorial, sales page, upsell. Very simple, time-tested structure that works in 2025. I run my own ecom brand and, we're doing millions of dollars a year with this exact funnel structure. So I don't want to fix or try something new or try, be super unique or experimental. I'm just going to stick to what I know works, especially for supplements. So we're going to start with the ads. For the ads, I think I'm going to write a couple of, in-feed VSLs / teasers that basically sell the click. And I'm also going to write some UGC scripts. Then those are going to, people are going to click on the ad. They're going to go to the advertorial. Now, an advertorial is an advertisement disguised as an editorial piece. That's why it's called an advertorial. And the purpose is basically to be like, it looks like a blog post, but really it's just a sales letter. And it pre-sells the customer before they go to the sales page, which is where they actually get sold. And then they go to the checkout page. Now, checkout, if the client is using like a special software like Funnelish or Checkout Champ, then you can provide suggestions on how they can optimize the checkout page, because the checkout page needs to be optimized to convert. But in this case, they're probably just using Shopify checkout, so we're not going to play around much there. But anyway, sales page, then they buy the product through the checkout, and then after the checkout, they go to the upsell. And this is where we're going to be selling the other product, or we're going to be selling more of the same. I'll decide in a little bit. I'm probably going to start by writing the sales page, because that's kind of where the actual selling is done. That's the meat of the promotion. And I always like to start with the longest form, like most important piece of the funnel, and then build the rest around it. I don't want to start with ads. I don't want to start with the advertorial, because at the end of the day, these are really just selling the click to this. This is the most important one. So sales page, then I'd probably do advertorials, then off that I would do ads, then the upsell last. That's the funnel structure I'm going with. Now in terms of the offer structure, right now on their website, they're selling 1, 2, and 3 bottles, $32, $56.98. What I'm going to do is probably 135 or 246. And obviously I'll come up with pricing too, but the client has to sign off on the pricing at the end. But the goal is to get the AOV as high as possible so that the chance of being profitable on first purchase is much higher. So obviously they're my clients, so I know that a big portion of the customer base, and if we look at the reviews, they talk about bloating and stomach aches and cleanse. What is it saying? Yeah, inflammatory disorder, cleanse my body, lose fat. Like really, that's the main thing that people are buying the product for. I'd say it's bloating. The product has a bunch of specific benefits, but I think we're going to focus on bloating for this funnel. Now, before I get into using AI to help with the research, I already have some ideas, right? So the product itself, it's called Soursop Bitters. When I first started working with this client, I didn't know what bitters meant. I thought it was called a bitter just as like a branding thing, but no, it turns out bitters, like the word bitter, it's actually a thing. And if you search up what is a bitter, bitters are concentrated flavor extracts, typically alcohol-based, infused with herbs, spices, roots, and other botanicals. It's a type of spirit, neutral alcohol with a blend of aromatic. So they're used in cocktails, digestives, and medicinals, right? So a bitter is actually a thing. And the thing is, old people know what bitters are. People like me and you, we don't know what bitters are. I don't know why that is. We're going to find out with our research, but that's important, right? Another thing that kind of I find interesting is, it's part of the reason why I want to go with the bloating angle. When you think about something bitter, it makes you salivate. And I want you to try this right now, watching this video. Think about something bitter, like a really bitter sweet or food. It makes your saliva, it makes you produce more saliva. That kind of ties into the whole idea of bloating and indigestion, because what causes bloating really, and this is just off the top of my head, like common sense shit, like I haven't done research, this is literally top of my head. Bloating is caused by poor digestion. The word bitter intuitively makes you salivate, and salivation, saliva, is a digestive enzyme that helps you digest food, because digestion doesn't start in your stomach, it starts in your mouth when you're chewing food, and the saliva helps you break it up. So that's the first interesting thing, which I wrote down. Actually, I'm going to write that down right now. The word bitter makes you salivate. Saliva equals first step of digestive process, right? Well, actually, the first step is chewing. That's the mechanical part, but this is the chemical part. Process. Bloating is caused by bad digestion. So this is what we know for sure. Another thing about bitters, I saw something about how like bitters, here. So actual bitters, and remember, bitters are a thing. It's genuinely a thing. It's like a type of drink with a bunch of herbs and spices, as I showed you earlier. But I read somewhere that bitters also, on top of helping stimulate saliva, they also help your gallbladder produce bile. And bile helps you break down fat and absorb nutrients from food. So again, digestion. So I think the main angle we're going to go with here has to be digestion or bloating, because everything about this product kind of intuitively ties into digestion and bloating. Now, a couple questions I have. Do customers know what bitters are on their own? Or do they think that bitters are just a part of the product name? Because that's what I thought, and I'm sure, a lot of people think that. That's the first question. Do we based on that, do we need to explain to the reader what bidders are? Because then it becomes because this is what I'm thinking, right? It should be a two-pronged approach. One, how to help bloating bitters. Two, but not just any bitters, soursop bitters. We added this herb to our bitters formula and blah, 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 right? And then off the back of how to help bloating, what I'm thinking is like your grandmother probably used bitters to help her digestion or whatever, right? But here's what we've done. We've taken normal bitters and we've added this and this and this and this. And again, these are just ideas I'm thinking of off the top of my head. Other stuff, why your stomach still hurts, how to eat like a teenager. I would just brains like vomiting ideas. Also, a couple of like alternatives to using this product. If you have indigestion and bloating, you can rely on laxatives, enzymes, antacids. So these are some of the other solutions that customers could use. Also, I remember I have this piece of copy saved. I can't remember where, but I like it. And this is just a random thing. But this copywriter was writing a promotion on bloating and digestion. I just like this passage. Modern life constantly beats on your digestive system. Stress, medications, polluting, eating on the run, all weaken your digestion so it can't do its job. It's no wonder why over half of us suffer from digestion troubles. So, I mean, I don't know. That's just an idea. Another thing, a question I have here is, why does something that's bitter? My cat is screaming and it's distracting. Oh my God, one sec.
What do you want? Okay.
This idiot keeps screaming when I'm trying to write copy. Every time I'm writing copy, this is what I do first. I just start writing down ideas and like dumping my thoughts onto a Google Doc. Gets me into that creative flow where I'm asking the right questions about this specific product and market. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna prompt ChatGPT. So ChatGPT has a deep research function, which is insane. I'm gonna prompt it to basically go and research everything on this page for me and basically confirm everything I asked here. And then I'm gonna double check to make sure it's accurate. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to prompt GPT. And while I'm prompting GPT, because this deep research function, it takes a while. Like, you might need to wait 15 minutes. While I'm doing that, I'm going to probably do some manual research myself, start thinking of some ideas for the actual structure. And I'm going to find examples of copy that I really like that I can emulate for this specific funnel. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to prompt GPT. We're going to start our research process. And while ChatGPT is doing research for me, I'm going to go look for some advertorial samples or sales page examples, to model this page off of. So here's the prompt I'm going to use. Can you conduct research on this product? I'm writing a cold traffic funnel to help them scale. First, I want to do some psychographic research because I want to find out more about the target demographic. So who's the target customer? What are their struggles? What are the pain points? Market research. So what's the market using? What's their experience been like? Product research, other questions. Is bloating the right angle to go with for this funnel? That's another question I have. The product has a lot of benefits, but I would like to zone in on one core benefit, bloating, or one core pain point / benefit. What do you think? Okay, so now we're just gonna prompt it and send it. Usually it'll ask you a bunch of questions, just answer them. So are you targeting US-based cold traffic? Yes. Should I focus? I don't know. Just research and find out who is buying this product, and that is our target customer. 3, are there any competitors? I don't know. Find out. 4, do you have preferred tone or demographic? I don't know. Find out. Okay, so now it's actually doing the research, and when it's finished, it's going to present everything to me. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some examples of e-com sales pages that I want the funnel to look like, or to emulate, sorry. In the meantime, I found a few sales pages that I like. I think we're going to go with a more e-com style page, something like this. I don't like this one too much. Let's start with this as like our template. I'm going to download this. And keep in mind, this sales page is for a completely separate product. The reason I'm uploading this to Claude is because I prefer Claude for writing, but ChatGPT is better for research. So we're gonna try first to make a sales page based on this one for this product, of course. And then afterwards, if I don't like how this one turns out, we're gonna use this one, essentially. But I don't know, the copy on this one isn't that great, to be honest. Okay, so here's the research that ChatGPT gave me. But just before I look at that, I'm trying to find a couple prompts I want to use to actually write the sales page. I'm just going to copy this and read this in the Google Doc. So, okay, so this is interesting, right? So remember in the beginning, I asked this question: do customers know what bitters are on their own, or do we have to explain that? So the client told me that a lot of the customers are like Black or Caribbean people, or just basically African Americans. And here's what ChatGPT says. It says there's an element of cultural or community wisdom at play for some. Those of Caribbean or African descent, or those plugged into alternative health communities, may recall their parents or grandparents using bitter herbs or bush tea tonics. I think in the probably African American community, they bitters were more popular. So it gives them an intrinsic belief that bitter equals medicine. So in summary, the target customer is someone exhausted by digestive problems who deeply yearns for relief and holistic rejuvenation. They are drawn to soursop bitters because it promises to address root causes and deliver a clean slate for their body and mind. Emotional stakes are high. It's not just about fixing a stomach ache, but restoring their quality of life, confidence, and belief that they can heal themselves naturally. Bloating relief is indeed a very compelling hook. So basically, it's confirming what I already thought, that the angle we need to go with is the de-bloat or bloating angle. One thing I notice again and again is that people say it tastes disgusting, but it's effective. They kind of shy away from talking about the taste. Like, they don't talk about taste in their marketing at all. I mean, in the copy. Yeah, they kind of try to shy away from, talking about the taste.
Oh, this comment is not lying. Us Puerto Ricans and Caribbean people as a whole, we have abuelitas growing this shit in the backyard, growing soursop.
Yeah, so I think one thing that could be interesting for an advertorial angle is to talk about, like, this disgusting fruit is de-bloating. Why millions of Americans are eating this disgusting fruit, you know what I mean? Like the curiosity angle, because rather than shy away from the fact that it tastes bad, maybe we should double down on it and make, when you double down on the bad thing about the product, sometimes it works really well. Okay, so all the market research is here with the sources. What I'm going to do is I'm going to prompt Claude to study the market research that I just got from ChatGPT and study the existing soursop product page. I want to see what we can turn out here. So attached, you'll find a market research, a very deep market research page for a product, for a supplement called soursop bitters, targeted toward African Americans with bloating issues. We'll call it chronic bloating issues, because that's really the pain point that we're trying to solve here, chronic bloating issues. So you'll find a deep market research page, which is here. It's in Project Knowledge. You will also find a product page for that product in Project Knowledge called soursop bitters PDP. I want you to analyze both individually, take your time, and read both PDFs, text, in extreme depth. In fact, what I'm going to do, because here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to upload this in PDF form, because the thing I noticed with Claude is that when you upload a PDF, it pulls a lot more information for you. I mean, it analyzes it better than text. So take your time and read both 10 times each before you give me your answer. Please begin. So first, I'm going to have it run the analysis, and then I'm going to give it a page to model off of. Basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to train this model on the market and the pain point. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sales page. This is for a completely unrelated product. But what I wanted, now that I've trained this model or this chat on soursop bitters, which is the product we're writing for, I'm going to see if I can get this chat to basically write a new soursop page, but following the structure of this one. So let's see what we can do here. Okay, now I'm going to upload a sales page for an unrelated product and market. That's what I've done here. The main reason I'm sharing is because I want you to analyze the structure of it. Then after that, I'm going to have you model off this Tropic Home Steam Sauna page as you write a similar page for Serene Herbs. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm giving it a completely random sales page for a different product. And I'm saying, look at the structure of this page, analyze it. After that, I want you to write a page for soursop bitters based on the market analysis you gave me here, but following the structure of this sauna page. So it's analyze the structure of the other page. Here's a prompt. So now I want you to help me write a new page for Serene Herbs soursop bitters. I just need to pull the information. So as a reminder, here's the info you pulled, attached. Let's add a prompt around the actual writing. So let me think. So let's do it. Let's see what it turns out. Continue and include a breakdown on all ingredients, a section with all ingredients and how they work. So this is actually going to end up being quite a long page, I think, especially explaining all the ingredients, but that's fine. Continue. So this is just a first draft, by the way. We're going to edit this a lot. And we need to create a wireframe, and we're already looking at 2,700 words, so it's a bit longer than I wanted it to be, but that's okay, no problem. Okay, and that's it. All right, so here's what we get first try. Okay, so this is draft number 1. Now what I want to do is see if I can give it to Claude and ask it to create a wireframe and headlines and stuff. Okay, here's draft number 1. Can you create a wireframe PDF version with headlines, tables, etc., image placeholders, etc. Let's see what it can do. Because right now what I have is like just very plain copy, but it needs to be laid out. I want to see what it looks like in actual, in a real format, kind of like this page. I want to see what it really looks like before I start to review the actual copy. And let's review the headline. So banish bloating, boost energy and transform. Oops, my battery's low. Banish bloating, boost energy, and transform your health from within. So we're going to change the offer structure to 2, 4, or 6. And remember, this is not like a long form sales letter or VSL. This is like an e-com hybrid page. Like it should look like this. Not like this, but I mean, like product is revealed straight away. There's a CTA straight away. That's what I mean by e-com page. It's not like a long form TSL where it's like 8,000 words. It's just, no, it's going to be designed. It's going to look good, which is why it's laid out the way it is. But I need to copy chief this. I want to get a wireframe. And then once we have this, we'll work on the advertorials. Once the sales page is kind of finalized, then I'll start with the advertorials. And then after that, I'll do the ads and the upsell. So let's see what we can come up with here. Okay, so I have a little bit more of a layout here. Claude wasn't able to really help me that much. I mean, it helped a little bit, but not that much. I had to do a lot of it manually, but it's okay. So what we have here is 2 tests for the sales page. I'm going to fill in the pricing and stuff later. Basically, we're going to run the same headline, but we're just going to change the structure of the bullet points above the fold as the initial split test on this sales page. Guarantees are here. I might change this. Let's see. But let's just do some copy chiefing. So we're bringing ancient healing to modern life. For generations, powerful herbal remedies. Because the thing is that's super important is the design, right? Because what I have right here is just copy. So it's really important that I give a good wireframe, that the designer can actually make the page look how I want it to look. Image on the left. We're going to put another call to action here to select a bundle. Okay, so we have a pretty good first draft. I like the layout. I think with the right design, this will be exactly what the client needs in terms of an e-com sales page. Now, one thing that I want to do is kind of want to play around with the headlines too, but we can do that later. Let's just finish creating the bundles and pricing. So right now on the website, it's 1, 2, or 3, so $32.99, 15% here. Starting at just, one thing I want to say is if we're doing 2 bottles, I'm going to write this down here. So pricing structure, 2 bottles, $54.99, and I'm just making this up. The client will have to confirm, but $54.99. 4 bottles becomes, ooh, wait, I have a better idea. 2 bottles, 3 bottles. Okay, 2 bottles comes out to a 2-month supply at $56.99. So if we do 56.99 divided by 60, 94 cents per day. So starting at just 0.94 per day. Select your bundle. And here, when you put it that way, it seems like much better value. Like, oh, I'm only paying 94 cents per day. And remember, this is a sales page, so we don't have to be so clickbaity and we don't have to be so informative and stuff. We're going to do that on the pre-sale page, the advertorial. But this is what I have so far. I'm quite happy with this as a first draft. So what we're going to do next is the advertorial. Okay, so it's been a couple days since I picked up on this funnel, simply because I got busy with a bunch of other projects that had priority, but I took the original page and I just cleaned it up. So what I like to do when I write, basically I'll write the copy and then I just won't look at a screen for like 8 to 12 hours. I'll go to sleep, and then the next day with a fresh mind, I'll just review it and clean it up. So that's what I did here. I cleaned up the headlines. I added in a better wireframe, rewrote the body copy to make it make more sense. That's what I did. So now we've done the sales page. This is a final draft. Let's do the advertorials, and then after that, we'll do the upsells. Okay, so what I've done is I've found an advertorial that we wrote for a completely different offer. It's kind of for the same pain point, and this advertorial killed it. So what I'm gonna do is basically just prompt AI to reproduce that advertorial with the same angle and same style, but for the product we are writing for. So I'm just gonna prompt it again, and then actually gonna download this too. I'm going to write 2 advertorials. So this is going to be advertorial A, draft 1, and I'm just going to take the copy and paste it here. Continue. We're going to clean it up after, but I just want to get a first draft on paper. So advertorial angles 1, this disgusting brown liquid is helping 100,000 Americans de-blow, and then the subheading, no more constipation or unpredictable bowel movement. I don't know, something like that, right? I want to have one advertorial with the idea like it tastes disgusting, because a lot of the customers complain that it tastes disgusting. So something that works really well in direct response or just marketing in general is when you take the one bad thing about your product and you shove it in the customer's face. Take the bad thing about your product and put it out there, because then, you really set the right sort of tone. I don't know, just as a test. So that's the first one, advertorial I want to test. The other one is this one, which I don't know, we can just call it general angle, advertorial A. And the third one, let's look at the angles we have. I want to do something about bitters. Like, what could your grandmother's bitters angle. Bitters can be used to help in digestion. Let me just double check the market research too. Continue. And then, by the way, so the point of this advertorial is to pre-sell them before they land on this page, which is the actual sales page, where then they click through to the checkout and then they buy the product. I like this headline. TikToker calls this at-home herbal elixir disgusting, forever bloated, here's how it works. Make this a bit smaller as a subheading. TikTok health community going wild. Has taken, I don't know about this headline. We can fix it later. Could this nasty traditional remedy be the secret to ending your constant bloating? Herbalists say yes. Okay. For fucking AI, these headlines I like them a lot. I don't like this. Why are you still planning your life around your unpredictable digestion? Let's just read through the copy. So take a look at these two images. So here we'll have above the fold like a before and after of a person who's bloated and a person who looks good and has a flat stomach essentially. I think I'm going to change this, but I like this first line. Take a look at these two images. It looks like a normal before and after. I know. Is this but what if I told you that a simple tablespoon of liquid taken twice of this brown liquid, or of this her simple tablespoon of liquid is the real reason behind the transformation. But after spending what felt like half of my adult life looking like I was 6 months pregnant after every meal, I really like that. See the leaf in the image above? Image of soursop. But that's okay. So essentially what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean this advertorial up, add a wireframe. So we have advertorial 1 done. And then I'm going to go and work on these other 2 angles, and we're going to write them again. Because the thing with the advertorial is you want to have multiple angles always. Like I always like to test 3 or 4 completely different advertorials for the same product, because you can never really predict what's going to work well, which style is going to do the best, which headline is going to perform the best. So I test 3 different angles, and within each advertorial angle, I test headlines and leads. But anyway, let me go and clean this up, create a wireframe, and I'll get back to you guys in a minute. It's the next day again, but I went ahead and created a final draft of the sales page, which is here. We have advertorial A, which is the first advertorial I wrote last night. But here you can see I just created a bunch of new headline tests. So yeah, we got 5 headline tests. We cleaned it up a little bit. I rewrote the lead, so it's, before it was just take a look at the 2 images above, but I thought it didn't really make sense, so I wrote it again. I used to plan my entire day around bathroom breaks, and then take a look at the 2 images below. It makes more sense this way, and then we talk about the ingredients. So yeah, what I'm gonna do now is, if we go back to tab 2, or tab 1, sorry, I'm gonna come up with, now advertorial A is done, I'm gonna come up with 1 or 2 more advertorials. So first, this second sort of angle I wanna go with is this one with this disgusting brown liquid, which we kind of briefly touch on here. But this is more like, the thing about this advertorial is it's like a story. She's like, I used to plan my day, and I used to suffer from, my stomach was always bloated, and I used to suffer, and, I was just like you. But now, after taking this supplement, I experienced this benefit, and this benefit. And if you want to experience it too, click here to the next page. So that's kind of the idea behind this advertorial. But now I want to write an advertorial that's more of like a news flash article. Like, hey, TikTokers are saying that this product's helping people de-bloat. Click here to find out if it's true. Like that kind of thing. More of like a clickbait angle. Let's just prompt GPT to rewrite it and see what happens. Okay, here's the final draft. This is advert. Now I want to write a new advertorial from scratch for the same product. This time I want to go with this angle. A newsletter. Something along the lines of, so the tonality and language should be different. It shouldn't be from a first-person story perspective, but more of a shorter form, straight to the point news angle. Okay, let's see what it says, or what it does. If this doesn't work, then I'm going to give another advertorial. Okay, let's see how this turns out. I don't know, let's Let's remove that actually. But the reason I'm thinking about putting this, the worst thing I've ever tasted, in the headline, but let's just leave it as it is. But this is exactly the type of angle I wanted to go with for the second advertorial, more of the newsflash angle. And one thing I want to add here, which I mentioned earlier, is like, don't believe me? Think about the most bitter taste. You'll notice that you naturally produce more saliva just by thinking about something bitter. Saliva is the first digestive enzyme that goes to work on. I don't know, something like that. We need to clean that up. Okay, I don't know if this quote is actually real, so, because sometimes AI just makes up random shit that isn't true. But we'll figure that out later. Continue. Good start so far. We can put a CTA.
Excuse me. Continue.
So now it's like Serene Herb is a company behind Soursop Bitters. So this is what I was trying to go for. Okay, so that's draft number 1 for advertorial B. I need to clean it up. I'm not so happy with it right now, but so far so good. So that's what I'm going to do. Actually, what I'm going to do is clean up this advertorial, and I'm going to actually start writing the third advertorial really quick. Okay, so now I've wrote advertorial C, or the final draft, and I've wrote advertorial B, final draft. And that means when I say final draft, that means there's split tests. I've cleaned up the copy. I've rewrote certain parts that don't read correctly. And now we're going to do the upsell, and then that's it. We're going to deliver the funnel. I thought I was going to be writing the ads for this, but actually the client's handling that himself with his ads team or his media buyers. So once we do the upsell, the funnel's complete. I'm going to send it to the client. One thing, right? When it comes to writing upsells for supplements, the best thing to upsell is always more of the same product. That's always going to do the best. And the second thing I want to talk about is the method that I use to upsell. So pretty much the tried and true method to successfully upsell a customer is, first of all, remove buyer's remorse. Second of all, congratulate the customer. And the reason you do that is because if somebody has any form of remorse after purchasing from you, they're not going to buy again. So what you want to do is really make them feel good about their purchase. So the way we do that is basically by saying, hey, look, thank you so much for your purchase. You just made an amazing decision. As soon as you receive this product in just a few days, you're going to experience benefit. And basically, we want to really paint a picture to the customer of the benefits that they're going to experience as a result of their really smart purchasing decision today. We want to frame it like that. And then we want to create a new problem. So we frame it, we tell them the benefits they're going to experience, congratulate them. But then we're like, but look, here's the problem. If you really want to experience these benefits long term, you need to be consistent, and you need to have, you need consistent long-term usage. Because as soon as you stop using soursop bitters, you go back to eating, toxins and seed oils and all the other stuff in your environment that's causing you to have these bloating issues, you're not going to experience these benefits anymore. And here's the other problem. We have very limited stock. And because of how special our product is and how many different ingredients we have to source to produce soursop bitters, I can't tell you when we're going to get our new batch in. So I'm going to give you a special offer only for today. And that's when you pitch. And basically you just sell them another 2 bottles at a discounted price. So what I'm going to do is I have a upsell that I want to, I like the structure of it, right? So I'm going to ask ChatGPT to basically write an upsell for following the structure of the other upsell. And the reason I'm going to do that is because ChatGPT can actually look at URLs. And the reason, one thing that sucks is I can't share this URL because this URL is for basically an offer that I have ownership and equity in. So I can't really share the actual URL or the actual upsell, but you'll see what it looks like at the end for this product. So I'm going to obviously blur this. Okay, here's an upsell template that works amazingly for a completely different product. I want you to write an upsell just like this one, following the same structure and tone for soursop bitters. The pricing for the upsell will be $49.99 for 2 extra bottles. And for your context, here's the sales page that the customer will be on before they check out. This is the Okay, so let's see what ChatGPT can do. I don't really use ChatGPT for copy, but it's pretty much the same as Claude in terms of its capabilities. So let's see what it can do. Okay, let's see. Here is the upsell that ChatGPT produced. Congratulations, you qualified for a special one-time offer. We have to change the offer though. I don't know what kind of margin they're working with, so the client's gonna have to really sign off on this in the end. Regular price, what's the regular price we're charging? $56.99, $56.99 for 2 bottles, which is $14.99 each, 28. So it's, yeah, we can call it 50% off. Okay, so here's what we have, right? First, we congratulate the customer. Then the thing is, this is like a short form e-com impulsive purchase. So we just present the offers straight away in a super aggressive way. We're like, look, add 2 more for $14.99 each. And here's the yes button. We don't put a no button above the fold. I'm going to add a comment. We can put a no button here too. So here's the thing. Without the no button above the fold, the take rate on this upsell will be huge, but you will get a lot of customers complaining and asking to edit their orders. So, I mean, it really depends on the customer support systems you have in place. And also, this will probably cause more chargebacks and disputes. Like, for me personally, I like to give the most aggressive copy to a client, and then we can tone it down from there. So we don't put a no button right up top. We have another, I'm just going to copy and paste this here. We have this here, and then we have finally at the bottom a no button. Yeah, we congratulate the customer. We tell them like, yo, look, you made a great purchase. We congratulate the customer and then we present them with a new problem. But here's the problem. Soursop bitters is so amazingly effective and popular that raving customers keep clearing out our stock. We sell out again and again. If you run out of your current bottles and want more later, there's a good chance you have to wait for a restock and pay full price, meaning you risk losing the momentum you've gained. Remember, the biggest transformations from benefit and benefit to benefit and benefit build up over, let's not say months, because over weeks of consistent use. Oh no, we'll say month. I'm quite happy with this upsell. Okay, so that's every single deliverable for the client. And the client, he paid $7,500. And this took me about, if I was working really hard and I had a quick deadline, I could have got this done in like 5-6 hours. So let's just run through the entire thing. So we have advertorial A. Could this nasty traditional remedy be the secret to ending your constant bloating? Herbalists say yes. Bloated after every meal, this ancient bitter tonic has TikTok going, I would just say TikTok maybe. Forever bloated, TikToker calls this at-home herbal elixir disgusting but life change. Now, this is the advertorial. It's the first thing the customer sees. So we're just pre-selling them. We're not even writing a sales page here. We're just trying to act like we're trying to give them value and present new information to them. We have 5 headline tests here. And in general, headlines when you test headlines, they cause the biggest changes. So always test headlines first. After headlines, you can test leads and closes and CTAs and all that stuff. But headline really makes the biggest difference. Why are you still planning your life around your unpredictable digestion? So yeah, advertorial A. And then when they're finished with advertorial A, they click through to the sales page. And this will literally just be like a design heavy e-com sales page with a bunch of conversion elements. Then they click through, they go to the checkout page. Now, I don't know if the client's going to use a Shopify checkout or if they're going to build this on, Checkout Champ or Funnelish, whatever they do, like it's up to them. And then after they check out, they instantly get hit with a super aggressive upsell at $14.99 each. Now, I don't know if this unit economic works for the client. It's up to the client to tell me, and then he can change it or I'll change it for him, whatever. But yeah, it's that simple. The upsell is going to help liquidate the ad spend. If we go super aggro and don't put a no button up here and we just put the no button at the bottom of the page, then the take rate's going to be very high and he's going to have a very profitable funnel on first purchase in theory, but his customer support is going to get hammered and his chargebacks are going to increase. So it's really up to the client how he wants to conduct this funnel. That's the funnel. Advertorial A, we have advertorial B, which is like the news report angle. And also this one talks about how it's disgusting and it doesn't taste good, because that's what all the customers, or like a lot of the reviews are saying, that it just doesn't taste good. And then we have advertorial C, which is about bitters, and like basically old people use bitters and they're big in like the African American community, if I understand correctly. So a lot of the target customers who read this are from that sort of community. So they'll be able to relate to this idea of bitters. So yeah, there you have it. That's me writing a cold traffic funnel from scratch, A to Z. Obviously, this is a short video. I skipped over most of the process. Now, if you're serious about making money, writing cold traffic copy for your clients and actually getting them good results, then I have something really special planned for you. I'm hosting a free live training where you're going to learn how to master cold traffic copywriting from scratch in 2025 and how to use AI to write better, faster, and get better results. I've personally used this exact framework to bring in multiple high-ticket clients that pay anywhere from $5,000 per project to even, in some cases, $30,000 for a single project. I never really do these type of trainings, but when I do, they fill up really fast. And that's because the stuff that I'm going to show you isn't theory, it's stuff that actually works. And if you apply what you learn in the free training, you can get instant results and make money straight away, as long as you apply it properly and you take action. In this free live training, I'm gonna show you the exact research process I've refined over years after selling literally over $100 million on the internet. And I'm also gonna show you how to use AI to help you do research and what you should actually be looking for in terms of product research and customer research. I'm gonna show you how to write advertorials and pre-sales so that you can turn skeptical strangers into happy buyers for your customers on cold traffic predictably. You're gonna see the exact sales letter template step by step that sold over $50 million for me and my clients in the last 5 years. I'm also gonna show you how I combine proven direct response principles with artificial intelligence to write high converting copy in half the time while still sounding like a human. And most importantly, I'm also gonna teach you how to get clients as a total beginner in 2025 for cold traffic copywriting. Now, it doesn't matter if you don't have case studies, you don't have experience, or you're not a very good copywriter. I'm going to show you how to do it regardless and get paid. I'm not basing this training on theory. I'm basing this free live training on what's actively working right now in the trenches as a copywriter who's made millions of dollars. So if you don't want to miss out, click the link in the description and register for the free live training. All I need is your email and name, and that's it. It's a really quick process. Just click the link, sign up. You have nothing to lose. It's completely free. And I'll see you in the next video.